allowed.
Security days.
6:30, I'll bring the meeting to order.
Yeah.
First item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item up on the agenda is the adoption of minutes for September 18th. Could I get a motion to adopt the September 18th minutes?
I'll second it.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All yes, motion carried. Next item on our agenda, we're not adding, there's no additions to the agenda tonight. Next item on the agenda is, I would like to get a motion to open the public hearing regarding the override of the tax levy limit, AKA the 2% tax cap.
I'll move that. I'll second it.
So presumably, I think it's a measure that we adopt every year.
Yes.
It just frees up the board from any concern regarding violating comptroller's requirements regarding the 2% tax cap. In and of itself, the adoption of this does not reflect what the budget might or might not be, although...
Yeah, I gotta open the public hearing.
Oh, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
I
carried.
reiterate what I just said. Everyone knows.
Yes, we preemptively do this based on scheduling for when we do adopt the budget, in case we did decide at that point if we had to go over. We would, then have to jump through these hoops legally, and you're up against a time-definite timeline to submit to the county and to the, with the state requirements for budget. That being said, I'll open the public hearing. I just wanted to let people know the comptroller and myself did go through the formula, and the 2% cap from last year's budget to this year we would have been over. It's not even 2% this year. It was more like barely 1%. $100,000 increase in the tax levy of any kind. Special districts count. Unfortunately, New York State has not figured that part out. $100,000 increase would have put us over the cap, just so people understand the dollar value of it. That being said, I will open the public hearing if there's anybody willing to speak or wishes to speak in favor or against 2% cap. Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public hearing at 6:33 p.m.?
I'll move it. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried, all yes, meeting closed, sorry. The 2% tax cap closed at 6:33 p.m. The next item on the agenda is, can I get a motion to open the public hearing regarding the West Phoenix Fire Protection District 2026 contract with Enterprise Fire Company?
I'll move that. I'll second it.
At 6:33 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All yes. The public hearing is open. Is there, before I ask anybody for comments, Mr. Van Dyke is here from the Enterprise Fire Company in case anybody had questions. I don't believe we do. I just wanted to note that the increase is $3,775 increase from 2025, which I believe is I think I got the letter here. It is a 3% increase from the previous. So just so everybody knows, is there anybody wishing to speak in favor or against the contract? Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public hearing at 6:34 p.m.?
I'll move it. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. The next item up on the agenda is citizens' comments. Are any citizens wishing to speak tonight? Don't all come up at once. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to town board comments. Councilor Moore.
Thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. Stick to the agenda.
Ditto. Ditto.
Okay. Next item is supervisor's comments. I have just a couple notices. Tomorrow afternoon, Friday, October 3rd, on Paper Mill Island from roughly 4:30 to 7:30 p.m., we will have the arrival of the Erie Canal boat, the Seneca Chief, in relation to the celebration of the 200th anniversary of the Erie Canal. They will have art show, music, food trucks, Erie Canal history, and more. Myself and a few other elected officials, the town supervisor, Van Buren, the village mayor, are going to be honored to be able to board the Seneca Chief and ride it a few hundred yards down the river to the Paper Mill Island, which I was told by Supervisor Saracini that it's a great experience to be able to get on that boat. I'm missing the word. It's a recreation of the original boat. He said it's beautiful, and I trust his boating knowledge, because I know he's lived on the river his whole life, and he's a big person. I don't even know what it's called when you're into boats, but I know he's into it. So we have that tomorrow afternoon. If you're not doing anything, it's going to be a great day. Next week, just want to remind everybody, we have our budget work sessions. Tonight, we hit the next thing with the 2% tax cap and West Phoenix Fire Protection contract. We'll be voting on those two items tonight. October 6th to the 8th, I did have the dates wrong at the last meeting when I put it on the board. I've changed it on the website. October 6th, Monday night, 5:30, here in the auditorium, unless we have a zoning board meeting. They were going to try to get one. If they do, we'll be in the conference room. We'll have the door unlocked, and I'll have notes. If people want to come, if they're open to the public, we will be discussing the highway budget Monday night with the highway superintendent. Tuesday night, we will be going over the parks budget, and then after we finish with the park director, we'll probably start catching up on any other budgets that the board members have questions on. And then Wednesday, normally what we do is sit down and look at the numbers and, have some discussions on where we want to be or what we can be and what we can do. So Thursday's there if needed. But last year, the process, we were done by Wednesday night, and then we have the public hearing on the budget, which we get up on the website, and we'll make our presentation on October 16th, public hearing, and then on October 3rd, we come back after we take everybody's thoughts at the public hearing or any other issues, and we'll hold our vote October 23rd, which gets us in line for early voting to start this year on October 25th, which is in this room from October 25th until Election Day. So that's why we try to speed our process up with the budget, because we won't have access to this room at those times. The other item I have, next Friday, October 10th, the union has decided to use, the clerical union is using their floater holiday. So the assessor's office and code's office will be closed. Town clerk's office, the tax receiver will still be here receiving taxes. I will still be here. Town supervisor and the comptroller, I believe, will not be here. But those offices will be open. So if you're paying taxes, you can still pay here for your school taxes until the end of October. There is a small penalty because you're past the penalty-free date, but we will be open that day to receive taxes, and the clerk's office will be open. The next item on that weekend, Saturday, October 11th, from 12 to 6 p.m. at Town of Lysander Park, we have Orange and Olive's Spooky Howl. There's different vendors that give out treats, candy. They have a path for kids to walk. It's definitely a younger kid age group thing for people to attend and use if you have smaller kids. It's a great setting. Just wanted to inform people about that. The information's up on the town website, or if you call the parks office, they'll gladly tell you everything going on. That is it on my end. Department heads, town attorney,
Nothing at this time.
town engineer.
Nothing else, good.
Okay. Town clerk.
I just want to bring up one thing because I want this man's name in the minutes. A good friend of mine, commissioner from the Plainville Fire Department, passed away recently. Jim Slanker. He was a commissioner for a number of years, a firefighter for a number of years. He was my economics teacher in 11th grade, and he was also a professor of mine at LeMoyne College in the education program. And he used to come in and buy his hunting licenses, and we would have coffee and we would talk, and he was a wonderful, wonderful man. So smart. Taught me about the law of diminishing returns, which I will never forget, his use of eating 2 pizzas when we, if you all understand what you know. He was just a wonderful, wonderful man, and I want his name in these minutes. James Slanker. I will miss him. Sorry, getting a little emotional, but wonderful person. James Slanker, Plainville Fire Department.
Yes. And the town clerk had told me it was, she was amazed when, back when she was in school, and then she started to be town clerk here and was working with the fire department. She got to, see her teacher again in a different aspect. So,
Yeah.
a man who gave to the community, and, it's sad to see those people go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you for your service, Mr. Slanker, and his family. We're sorry for your loss. Next item up is agenda items. Motion A, I'd like to get a motion to adopt a local law to override the tax levy limit established in the general municipal law 3-C for 2026.
I'll move that. I'll second it.
Okay, discussion. As I had stated before, the limit would have been roughly a $100,000 increase to the tax levy. We do this preemptively. We do our best to keep the taxes at the lowest rate while also offering the services needed and required and expected by the town residents. So, as I said, next week our budget work sessions, feel free to come. If we're not here in the auditorium, 5:30 to 8, we'll be in the conference room. There will be signs on the window parking the employee parking lot. And I'll have signs on the conference door. We have seats to accommodate people.
I can't resist making a comment though, about this. This falls into the category so typical of New York State government, which is do as we say, not as we do. Because New York State never, ever stays within the limit of a tax increase at 2%. But they expect municipalities to do it, especially when they impose so many mandates on local government that we have no choice. So this doesn't mean we're going to be going over the 2%, but because of what Supervisor Rowe just explained, we have to have this take effect, so we have the permission to do so. But it just burns me up that New York State is forever telling municipalities do it this way because we think this is the way you should do it, but we're not going to do it. So keep that in mind. That's all.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any comments? Okay. Seeing none, and I agree. It's definitely, there's no reason for it to, and it's not properly set up. Special districts are costs in that have to be borne by the special district. You only have so many options of how a special district has to pay for work, and that's if your sewer line breaks, if a pump breaks, and it's multi-$1,000 expense, you don't have a choice, and that could easily destroy the tax cap. And numerous efforts have been made to New York State and have gone unheard, and since they created this about making accommodations for fire service for those districts that they are unwilling to hear.
And on top of that, the tax cap hasn't been changed in well over a decade.
Right.
Decades, probably. And it does not reflect simple things like inflation. So we all know what the inflation rate, when you're looking at inflation that's at a rate that's over 3%, you're looking at cost of living increases that exceed 2%, yet the state of New York persists in saying, don't raise your property taxes more than 2%. Much like people do, with the exception of groceries, municipalities also incur the cost of inflationary raises, of cost of living increases. They affect towns, villages, and individuals. The same, but the state turns a blind eye to that and leaves it at 2%.
Right.
Every year.
Yes. And now, just for people who do remember originally at the camp, you did get a check back if the school stayed under and the town stayed under, depending. that has stopped. That there's nothing, there's no relevance to this. There's no carrot and stick anymore to this other than.
There used to be a penalty too, if you went over
Correct.
and you went over, then people in your town would not get that check.
Credit, right.
They got rid of that too. So
Yes.
it is truly a somewhat meaningless law at this point, but in order to comply with the technical requirements, we would adopt this local law.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All yes, motion carried. Motion B, I'd like to get a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the 2026 Fire Protection Agreement by and between the town of Lysander and the Enterprise Fire Company Number 1, West Phoenix Fire Protection Agreement, in the amount of $129,597. This is a $3,775 increase from 2025, which relates to 3%.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Discussion. As I said, Mr. Van Dyke, we didn't have any, came from Enterprise Fire Company. We didn't have any comments from the public. Overall, the level of service compared to the tax rate that this is very comparable and extremely low for the taxpayers and those residents. So we thank you for your service at the Enterprise Fire Company, Mr. Van Dyke, and we appreciate the service given to the district.
For anyone that knows, if you've gone down Lamson Road there in West Phoenix, you see our Station 3, which
Yes.
is located in Lysander. It's been having an addition put on for quite some time. We've had some issues, the weather over the winter hurt. We had some issues with the county health department, such as that. The other thing is, we're doing as much as we can on our own to cut down the cost. For example, we had to put the metal ceiling up before we could insulate. It took us 6 nights of getting together and putting the metal ceiling up there, but it is getting there. Poured concrete yesterday, it's getting insulated as we speak, so we hope to have fire trucks back in there. The reason for putting that on is 2 years ago we changed our bylaws. We used to be where you had to live in our fire district in order to become a member. We changed that to where you can now live in a neighboring fire district. We gained quite a few members over there that were closer to our fire department than, say, Baldwinsville or Lysander or such as that. We actually wound up with some trained people that came because it was closer, it was easier to get to. So that's the reason for doing that. Also, by doing that, we have 3 firehouses. We have 2 in the village of Phoenix. Once we can get our equipment out of the one by the library and over to there, we already have offers on selling Station 2. So we'll be down to 2 firehouses. But that's the reason for that, and the reason, again, for the delay, weather, some complications with health department and such as that, and the fact that we're trying to cut the cost as much as possible. And we're well under budget for what we had. So.
Great. Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All yes, motion carried. Motion C, I'd like to get a motion to hold a public hearing to consider the Lamson Road Sewer District Extension on Thursday, October 16th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. in the town of Lysander. This resolution shall authorize the town clerk to advertise for sale.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Discussion. We tabled this from the last meeting. We have since received permission from the Village of Phoenix that there is capacity for this to go over to their sewer treatment plant. I think we've checked everything off to go to the next step for this property owner to be able to allow access and use of the sewer district. Do you have anything else to add, Mr. Yeager?
Nope.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All yes, motion carried. Motion D, I'd like to get a motion to refer the following to the Onondaga County Planning Board. Adoption of Figure 1A to the Lysander Town Code, Chapter A337, Street Specifications, Article 7, Typical Street Sections, which would allow for the optional use of concrete valley gutters on Town of Lysander residential subdivision streets.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Discussion. I know we beat this up pretty good at the last work session. I finally had time to write it down to be able to refer to county planning. We had found out with our law that we had gone to asphalt tip-ups, and we have developers that would like to put the added cost of concrete gutters in. So we have to add that back into our town code. So this is the first step in that process. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes, motion E.
I have a question.
Yep.
Do I need to do a GML for this?
Yes.
Do I
Yes.
need to submit a seeker or anything? Or is it a
I mean, it's a type 2.
type 2?
The code is a type 2. The seeker on a project-by-project basis will be done by the developer.
Yes, so it's a type 2 action, which is,
Negative declaration?
Yes.
yes.
So do you want to cover that before the public hearing?
Yeah, we,
Next.
We're at the same, in the
it's
same agenda.
same resolution
Okay.
adopting the local law, that it's type 2 action.
Yeah, declare lead agency status.
Yeah, I mean, this is just getting we got our referral from our board. We'll get the county referral, and then we'll jump through the hoops.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay, thanks.
Well taken.
thank you. Motion E. I'd like to get a motion that the town board of the town, I'd like to get a motion so that the board of the town of Lysander authorizes the Lysander Town Court to apply for a JCAP grant in the 2025-2026 grant cycle up to $30,000.
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Discussion. The reason for that wording is because that's how the JCAP grant wants it, and that's why I stumbled over it. The JCAP is for our justice courts. As I found out, the JCAP grant applications have to be due by October 10th, so that's next Friday. We are looking at our budget of putting a rolling system in our vault to give us almost double the capacity we currently have, and also to be able to segregate the courts to allow separate access to their documents, and allow the town clerk to keep the rest of the clerical records and the records for the town separate, as they are required to be by law. That we can use the JCAP grant to help offset the cost of the justice court part. So that's what this will be. They can also apply for other items they need to run the courts. So we needed to get this on this meeting to jump through that next hoop for the state. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All yes. Motion approved. Motion F, I'd like to get a motion to hold a public hearing to hear those for or against adoption of the 2026 preliminary budget of the town of Lysander on Thursday, October 16th. Oh, I missed the date. That was me. I did the agenda this week. October 16th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. at Lysander Town Hall. This resolution shall authorize the town clerk to advertise for sale.
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Discussion. As I said, the budget work sessions are up on the website. You can come next week and watch how the sausage is made. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All yes. Motion G. I'd like to get a motion to hold a special meeting of the Lysander Town Board on Thursday, October 23rd, again, 2025, at 5:30 p.m. for adoption of the 2026 Town of Lysander budget.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? I prefer to not vote the same night on the budget after we have the public hearing to make it, to let the public know that we do take their thoughts and comments into consideration. That seems to work out well. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All yes. We did not have an executive session. There was no need for one. Can I get a motion to adjourn at 6:54 p.m.?
Move it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. The meeting is adjourned. Have a good evening, folks.